Welcome to The Verdict, Nigeria's first ever English arbitration reality show. Arbitration is a form of alternative dispute resolution outside of formal courts, and The Verdict brings you real-life cases from across Nigeria. Let's meet the arbitrator. Our arbitrator is Samuel Oluwatosin Orekoya, Associate of the Chartered Institute of Arbitration, a UK certified arbitrator and seasoned businessman with successful commercial ventures to his name. Samuel Orekoya has arbitrated cases in the UK for a number of years and has founded counseling organizations with membership of over 1,000 members. With a background in law, he has counseled people in over 27 different countries. On today's show, contract dispute, Johnson & Johnson Limited versus O-Tech Limited. Mrs. Smith, MD, CEO of Johnson & Johnson Limited, is demanding compensation to the tune of 1 million naira from Mrs. Ojolakwe of O-Tech Limited for breach of contract caused by her delay in supplying 27 Acer laptop computers. Mrs. Ojolakwe of O-Tech Limited thinks otherwise. She insists she still delivered within the terms of the contract.
Okay, I see here a case between Mrs. Ojolakwe representing O-Tech, yeah, and Mrs. Ronke Smith representing Johnson & Johnson Limited.
Yes, sir.
And it says here that you ordered about 27 computers to be delivered by the 7th.
Yes, sir.
And there were some complications which arose out of that. Can you please explain?
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. We actually needed about 27 computers, and we decided to engage O-Tech because we've had some relationship over time, and usually they perform. And the reasons we wanted to use the computers was to work on a job for one of our clients, in fact, our biggest client. And the computers are supposed to be used in our Gwagwalada branch. But surprisingly, and it was a big disappointment, they didn't supply on time. And we were very, very specific about that deadline, the January 7th deadline, because it was the only thing, it was delivery on that day that would allow us to process the job of our clients and to be able to deliver on deadline. And the most amazing thing is, she didn't even pick my calls.
So what happened as a result of all this?
We almost lost our clients, but of course, because we are in business, we had to look for alternatives. So what we had to do was to go and hire computers. We had to hire a lot of computers. And apart from that, we had to also hire some extra staff. I had to subject my staff to a lot of stress. You know, they had to work overtime, and that cost a lot of money. Apart from the morale of my staff, which was really, really very low. But fortunately, we were able to deliver to our clients and meet the 10th deadline. But of course, it cost me a lot more money than planned for. And sir, my intention is all the extra money I spent, which adding everything together is up to 1 million naira. I want compensation for it, and I want it from her.
All right, all right. Miss O-Tech Limited, what do you have to say about this?
Thank you very much. I want to start by saying that this is business. And I gave my word. I gave my word that I would supply the computers on the 7th of January. But somehow, what you can't really, things happen. And there was a force majeure. And so I had to I went through a lot, sir.
Two things. You said you gave your word, yes?
Yes, I did give my word.
You said force majeure.
Yes, sir.
What happened?
Well, there were issues with the storm, weather, I mean. And so I had to, the ship had to stop. They were told to stop for a while to regulate in order for the storm or something to get regulated. And so I can't help these things. I mean, I didn't plan for such. And so the things were still delivered anyway on the 11th. I mean, they were still delivered.
Mrs. Smith, do you understand what she's saying about the weather?
I do, but I completely disagree with her. Because the truth of the matter is there are other ways of shipping a product. The truth of the matter is she knows about the deadline. She could have done hair freighting.
Hair what? I mean, listen, please, we I've never spoken about the means at which to deliver. The most important thing is to deliver, which I did. I mean, they can't afford the air, or we didn't plan to ship it in through air. I mean, I'm sorry, but think of it. All the way from to the north. We're talking about Gwagwalada here. Look, consider the bad roads. But I still delivered these goods, though I didn't plan it to be so, and I am a good customer to her. I mean, this is happening for the first time. I'm disappointed that she's suing me.
You delivered these goods to her, right?
Yes.
But you delivered 4 days late.
Yeah, well, it's stated in the contract, sir, that I can actually deliver 4 days before or 4 days after. Yes.
Do you have that contract with you here?
I do.
Please, hand it over.
A signed one, sir. Thank you.
Hey, okay.
Please, can you help me hand it over? Please bring it back to be admitted. Is that your signature?
Yes, it is.
That's the contract you signed?
Well, this is the contract I signed.
Let me get the evidence back, please.
But this is fraud. This is fraud.
That's an
Sincerely.
insult, please. An insult, Mrs. Smith.
Oh, really?
Order, please. Order, please. I'm speaking to Mrs.
Oh,
Smith
really?
currently. Mrs. Smith, were you aware of this term in the contract?
I was not aware of it.
You were not aware of it?
I was not aware of this.
Mrs. Ojuolakwe,
clause.
did you make any attempt to inform her?
Well, I don't think I should read a contract clearly stated to someone who can read.
Do you have previous dealings with them? You say you have used them before. Do you have copies of the contracts with them?
Of course, sir. I told you we've had business together for a long time, over 3 years. But the truth of the matter, sir, I have some of those contracts here, and in none of it do you have such a clause. And we know the implication of that is that she slipped that clause into this new contract.
I take that as an insult. An insult.
Can you please
What are you talking about, insult?
Order. Please, can you please pass the contracts to me?
Haba.
Oh, wow.
Mrs. Ojuolakwe?
Yes, sir.
I've looked through the other contracts you've had with them.
Okay.
And that clause, which states that you can submit 4 days before or after, is missing.
Well, we have different terms in contracts. That is for that, was for that, and this is for this contract. So I just want to state that whatever contractor, a person who is to sign is supposed to read properly before signing.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry for cutting in, because I don't know what, I'm speechless. Sincerely, I'm really angry. I'm really angry. Because the truth of the matter is, how could she do something like that? That is taking advantage of a relationship. The fact that we have related over some years, and nothing like that has come up in any of the contracts we have actually gone into.
All right,
how can she now come up and say she
Mrs. Smith, I understand your grievances, and I will deal with this all in due time.
And now, the verdict. Who could be right and who could be wrong?
It is not her duty, Mrs. Smith, to read this contract to you. It is also your duty that whenever a contract is given to you, to look at it. And if you cannot understand it, you get a legal personnel to help you look at this. And therefore, you're guilty of negligence by not reading this. I'm coming to you, Mr. Ojuolakwe. You have slipped this into the contract. You've put this in a very obscure location here. It's right before me, I can see this. And it's obvious that this was a deliberate attempt at misrepresenting to your customer. You have taken advantage of the goodwill that she has. It is your duty to inform her if there's any change to the terms of the contract, and you have failed to do this. You know? I want this to be established, Mrs. Smith, that you are negligent. Yes? And you incurred costs due to your negligence. But due to her sneakish attempt, due to her putting that clause without you being informed, you know, she's going to reimburse you some of the costs. You've asked for 1 million, she will reimburse you the sum of 543,000 naira. You know, I hope you have insurance. Maybe you can go and claim from them.
Sir,
You have 2 weeks.
I beg you, sir. I mean, 2 weeks for insurance. You know the paperwork that and how these people delay. I beg you to give me, say, 3 months, sir.
6 weeks, no bargaining. Is that okay with your company?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, my word.
Next on The Verdict. Cars are being bashed. Someone's got to pay. First, let's see what the respondents have to say about the decision in the Acer Computers case.
I'm happy. I'm also not happy. You understand? It's both way. But I'm glad because at least some of my cost was reimbursed, and I'm very sure that what happened would be a lesson to people not to take advantage of others, really. Because that was what I felt happened. And moreover, it's not a total loss. I've also learned my lessons, really, because it teaches me to be more careful. I won't just rely on trust or say because I know somebody and we've been in a relationship, especially a business relationship, for so long, and just assume. So I'll have to be more careful. The judge was fair. It wasn't, well, I was not at fault, really, because I was careless. So that's why I said I learned my lessons. It's faster, you know, less stress, and I think it's a good means, really.
What can I say? I mean, I didn't expect the case to get to court, but now that it has, I mean, it's not favorable. Frankly, it's not favorable. I don't want to lose a client here, so, I mean, we didn't have to go all the way anyway, so I think it's fair enough.
Well, I'm still thinking, really. It was a really traumatic experience, so I'm not sure yet. Although we've had a good relationship over time, and this was a big disappointment, I may still reconsider them, but for now, I'll think about it.
I want to keep this client. We have a good relationship. I mean, this was not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. I want to keep my client. I want to keep the company. I want to keep Johnson & Johnson. And so, we'll work around it.
Case 2. Traffic collision incidents. Mr. Adebayo versus Mr. Chuka. Mr. Adebayo, a taxi driver, gets bashed from the rear as he was driving along Ikorodu Road around the Anthony area. He accuses Mr. Chuka, who, maneuvering his Volvo through traffic, of masterminding this damage. He is demanding that Mr. Chuka pays him for the damages incurred. But Mr. Chuka thinks he is not exactly at fault here.
Okay, you're Mr. Chuka Okonkwo, right?
Yes, sir.
And you are Mr. Bayo Adeyemi.
Yes, sir.
And you claimed that Mr. Okonkwo hit your vehicle last week, and that has led to some complications.
Yes, sir.
Please, can you explain?
Thank you, sir. The whole thing happened last week, sir. When this Chuka, I was driving on Ikorodu Road along Anthony area. When this Chuka bashed my car from the back, I was driving. Suddenly I heard that bash. And the worst part of it was that I hit the car in front of me, sir. He hit class Mercedes Benz. That is what the man I hit. I had to come down out of the car and pleaded with the other man. In the process of pleading with the man, I had to give this man 5,000 naira. All what I have worked for that day with my car, Kabu work. I had to give this man the 5,000 naira. This is the pain that this Chuka boy cost me that day. Okay. I had to pay this man 5,000 naira, sir.
All right, Mr. Bayo. Mr. Chuka, what do you do for a living?
I just finished my university education, sir, so I'm still searching for a job.
So you are unemployed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happened on that day?
Sir, with all due respect, I feel some people have to go back to driving school to learn the proper way of driving, sir.
Come on, woman. You mean I should go back?
Mr. Bayo.
Come on, woman.
Mr. Bayo.
This is a typical example of what happened last week after the incident. I was driving down Anthony Road to a friend's place who was willing to link me to a job. But while driving, this man just barged into my front without trafficating.
I trafficated, sir.
He did not
I
trafficate.
trafficated.
Mr. Bayo, so you came into his lane without trafficating?
Yes, I trafficated. I trafficated.
He did not trafficate.
I trafficated.
Because
sir.
I was concentrating on my driving when he just came into my lane and I mistakenly hit him. So
You got that a mistake? Rasaki,
that was a mistake because he didn't trafficate.
Do you have evidence?
yes, sir.
Okay.
You call this a mistake?
Can I have the
Look at
evidence, please?
How would I have known?
of the damage?
Order.
How would I have known?
Order. Can I have the evidence, please?
Mistake. Ah! Mistake indeed. Mistake indeed.
Please, can you give this to Mr. Chuka? Mr. Chuka.
You can even see, sir, from the picture. It's very clear.
Mr.
The impact of
Chuka,
the
do you
damage
confirm that that car behind is your car?
This is my car behind, sir.
All right. It's your car.
Sir, you must pay me my 5,000 naira. You will pay for the panabiti.
Hey, Jimego.
One week of without job. You will pay.
There is no money with me.
You will pay.
There is no money with me.
Order. Your
You will pay.
request has been noted. What I can observe from this picture here, I can see skid marks, which means that he had his legs on the brake.
Yes.
And I can see the impact that your car had with his car.
The accident was clearly not my fault, sir.
Whose fault?
He did not trafficate before entering my lane. He did not trafficate.
Can you see this picture I'm seeing here?
Yes, sir.
You can see this picture.
Yes, sir.
You can see this picture I'm looking at.
Yes, sir. Clearly, sir.
I can see that Mr. Bayo's car was perfectly positioned in the lane.
Thank you, sir.
Whether he trafficated or not, it's not the issue at hand, Mr. Chuka. You know, you're culpable if you hit someone from behind. Especially as I can see that they are skid marks. You understand? Whether he trafficated or not is not even the issue now. He may not have trafficated. But I can see this impact. It shows that you are coming at really high speed.
I couldn't have known that he was coming into my lane, sir.
He said he trafficated. Even if he did not trafficate, you, as a decent driver, are meant to give a lot of space between you and the car in front of you. You are meant to be able to see the tires in front. And from this evidence I can see here, you must have pressed the brakes really suddenly to have this sort of impact, which means you were driving recklessly.
And now, the verdict. Who does this favor? The basher or the bashed?
Anyway, I've heard enough, and the evidence before me is in favor of Mr. Bayo Adeyemi. I understand that the two of you have grievances. Do you have insurance?
No, sir. I don't.
Why don't you have insurance?
The car is as you can see, is an old Volvo. So
That does not mean you can't have insurance.
It was my father that bought it, and in his days, he didn't really have the adequate papers for insurance, sir.
Okay. Why don't you have insurance?
Sir, it was my father that gave that car to me.
So both your
I was just using it to manage, sir. When this boy has caused this katakata. Eh?
Okay, you know what will happen? I give the two of you 2 weeks to sort out your insurance papers. And you, Mr. Chuka, you're clearly in fault. You're clearly at fault. You'll pay him the sum of 20,000 naira. I understand that you are an unemployed graduate. So I give you 2 months. Each month you pay him 10,000 naira for 2 months. And that is my award.
Let's see what the unemployed graduate, Mr. Chuka, and the cab driver, Mr. Adebayo, have to say.
The judgment is fair enough. It's okay. I will just have to see what I can do with the 20,000 naira, because the 20,000 naira will not be enough after paying 5,000 naira to the man that I bashed the car. 50,000 naira. I will just see what 15,000 naira will do to repair my car, and I will just see what I will do from there. It's good because I don't even have that kind of money to go and hire the lawyer. Where will I get the lawyer from? So I don't have that kind of money. So 20,000 naira in this way is something good. It's something good, something good. Considering the fact that I don't have to hire a lawyer, go postponement of this whole thing. So it's okay.
Chuka.
this Chuka. The guy looked very stubborn, but we'll see what happened after this. He should pay me my money first. He should just let me have the money first.
Well, sincerely speaking, I'm disappointed because on that fateful day, I was driving and the man that came into my front, Mr. Bayo, didn't trafficate. And besides, I have no money with me to pay. So really I'm disappointed because I don't even really know where I'll get the money from. That's exactly how I feel about the whole issue. The objective of the program is very okay. I'm in support of it because for we that cannot hire a lawyer and go through the normal process of a proper law court, this is cheaper and more easier because I got the judgment at once. But nonetheless, concerning my own case, I'm disappointed because the judgment wasn't in my favor and I have to pay for damages which I don't think I have faults in. So, well, I'm satisfied with the aim of the program, but not with the judgment concerning my case. By the judgment that the judicator gave us, we have 2 months. So before this month runs out, I will try do some kind of runs, or I'll try to go around, make paper rest, so that I will try pay the guy money. But man, you know it's you. I will try my best. I'll try my best.
Next time on West Africa's first ever arbitration reality TV show. Rent dispute between a final year medical student of the University of Lagos and his landlady.
I want to collect 100,000 naira.
I do not have that kind of money
That
to
is
pay.
what you
The only
pay.
way-
If you cannot pay that one, leave my house.
Do you expect me to just pack out of the house today? Where do you expect me to go? The jungle
Go
beside
anywhere
your house
now.
where rats coming to disturb me?
I don't care. My own is
Arbitration
100,000
is a
naira.
form of
No,
alternative
I
dispute
refuse to
resolution.
now.
In a country like Nigeria, court cases tend to go on for years and years without an end in sight. Arbitration is not only faster, but it's also cheaper. Our aim is to reduce court cases by 26% over the next 6 years.
Real people, real cases. It all gets resolved on The Verdict.